Airtech Mod Soldier here, and I'm back to talk about Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 1, and my thoughts on this opening episode of the final season. I'm going to start off by saying I might have been wrong. Okay, I will admit it. I will eat crow. Okay, I get it. I might have been wrong about certain things from the trailers. It does look like the people writing this season of Picard are not complete morons. Now, was the episode perfect? Was it the absolute best episode I've ever seen of Star Trek? Absolutely not. Is it an improvement on what we have gotten from the past couple of years? From CBS, Kurtzman? Yes. Mainly because I don't think Kurtzman's involved. But yes, it is the best thing we've seen from New Trek, in my opinion. Because this episode, they seem to have taken on a lot of the criticism from the fans. It seems like they are trying to show that they are Star Trek fans by bringing in certain things. I won't go into spoilers yet, that will be later. But, and there's a big but here, there is still problems. Especially with the captain of the Titan, who was obviously put in there to be an arsehole. I know that's a bit of a spoiler, but if you've watched the episode, you know what I mean. And what they are doing to that character is pretty fucking ridiculous. Now, the episode is an improvement, I will give you that. But it doesn't just erase the last 2 fucking seasons of Picard, or Discovery, or Lower Decks. Is it an improvement? Yes. Am I going to do what some YouTubers are doing right now and saying this could be the best season ever? Maybe it could be the best season ever of Picard, but that is just Picard. Okay, and that's not a massive bar to cross, is it? Now I say this because this episode does give me hope. It does. There's respect been shown. There is the fact they have taken on some of the criticism, which I can respect. And the fact most of the cast of Picard is gone completely. We still got Raffi, and I will go into her in the spoilers. And I'm not saying that she's a bad character. I actually kind of enjoyed her character in this episode. The first time, actually, I've actually felt Raffi actually makes sense to be in this show. First time, because other seasons, she has just been an annoying character. And that's just facts. You don't like that, well, I can't help you. But I liked her in this episode. I liked Picard in this episode. I liked Riker in this episode. I liked a lot of the stuff in this episode. I did. And it does give me hope for the future. I think it's a very good start to the season. I think if we keep going this way with Picard, this could be the best season ever of Picard. But again, not a big bar to cross. So, the episode as a whole, I think it's a good episode. It's a good start. I love the fact they're showing respect to Star Trek fans. And I did enjoy the story. Not happy that there's still a stupid amount of blood in Picard, because again, that's something they can't seem to get rid of. And again, it is stupid to have blood in Star Trek. I get some people said, well, there's always been blood in Star Trek. Again, but it's never been like so ridiculous and so over the top, okay? I get that people bleed when they're shot. I get that. It's just, it seems like we're watching a horror story with the amount of blood they show, okay? And that's just not Star Trek. Sorry, if you can't like that, then again, can't help you. But overall, I think this episode was a really good start. I can't wait for the next episode. I'm generally actually looking forward to it because it did end on a big cliffhanger, and I'm looking forward to the next episode. So would I give this episode out of 10? Oh, it's a difficult one. Because again, there is still the middle section of this episode that is a problem for me. Especially how they're handling the captain. Sure. I will have to stay at a 7. I can't go any higher than that. Again, this is the first episode. And first episodes, especially for Picard, it starts off good and then it ends terribly. Okay, that's just what happens with Picard. So, good first episode, 7 out of 10 from me. Can't wait for next week's episode. And that's as fair as I can be. I'm going to go into spoilers now. If you don't want to hear spoilers, leave in 3, 2, 1. So, this episode starts off with some old music and us going on to a mysterious Federation medical ship. And it turns out this is Beverly Crusher's ship. And she is being attacked by some mysterious group. So she grabs a rifle, locks this mysterious kid in the room, and fights off a boarding party. Now I want to just talk about the boy in the room. We all realise that's Picard's son, right? We're all kind of already over that. We don't need to go into like massive detail with that. I know the show is, but it's really, 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 really obvious that's Picard's kid. I mean, the accent alone from the trailer was like, he's got an English accent. It's obviously Picard's kid. So we all understand that's Picard's kid, right? Just want to get that out there. Anyway, so Beverly fights off a boarding party. She unfortunately gets hit in the firefight, but she manages to fight off the two mysterious warriors. Again, we see a blood scene. Again, too much blood in my opinion. And it's a phaser burn. Why are you bleeding, Beverly? Phaser burns don't make you bleed. It kind of already burns the wound. Again, it's a beam of light hitting you, not a bullet. So that blood scene I could do without. In my opinion, it's a bit over the top. But anyway, Beverly gets hurt. She realises she needs to get help. She's tried to get the ship to jump into hyperspace. Not jump into hyperspace, because that's a different franchise. To go into warp. And she does, but it causes massive damage to the ship. And she sends a secret message to Picard. And then we get the song part of the episode. And they have listened to fans because they finally gotten rid of that ridiculous fucking, I don't know what it's called, the soundtrack thing. They've gotten rid of the Picard soundtrack and just put normal Star Trek from the movies. The songs from the movies, basically. It didn't last long, which I felt was good. It was a few seconds. That's all you need for an opening crawl, whatever. And then we go to Picard. And Picard is in his French chateau. And I'm kind of very thankful we didn't stay long here. Because again, we spent way too much time in Picard's French villa. We really did. In both seasons 1 and 2. That was ridiculous, the amount of time we spent there. Anyway, so Picard is leaving Earth to go start a life with the Romulan woman. I don't think it's a sexual relationship or even a romantic relationship. I just think they're still friends. Did Picard ever tell her about the twin she has? Or did they do that in season 2? I don't remember because I only watched season 2 once and I'm never watching that piece of shit again. But yeah, so the Romulan woman is helping him pack up stuff. We find out the Forge is running a museum now because Picard wants to send him the picture of the Galaxy class on his wall for his museum. And, well, he's just pretty much getting ready to go into full retirement because he's now fully retired from the Federation. He then starts to hear one of his badges go off, and it turns out to be the old badge from season 1 of Next Generation. And it turns out to be a secret message sent by Beverly. And Beverly in the message tells him about, well, basically she's sending him a coded message about her location, and she uses the phrase, Hellbird. Hellbird. Now, if you're a Star Trek fan, you will remember this as the same code that was used by the Borg, and why Picard doesn't realise what the message is or what the code is about is because he was unconscious through through most of the episode with the Borg. So Picard realises he needs help to figure out this message, so he calls up Riker. And Riker is in a bar, and we get this little, I would say a little joke and a prod at probably Next Gen fans. And I wouldn't say it's a bad joke or a bad prod. It's just Riker asks the bar woman about why so many of the first Enterprises are being sold by Guinan, because this is Guinan's club or whatever, and not enough of the Galaxy classes are being sold. And she says nobody wants them, they're too old or something, or they're too fat. That was the joke, they're too fat. And Riker gets a bit annoyed about that. And I thought that was funny. And yes, it was a little bit of a dig, but I thought it was funny. And I can take a joke. I think Star Trek fans can take a joke. We can't take his absolute dog shit storytelling, which we've been getting from Picard, but that's a different story. Anyway, so Picard and Riker have a little conversation. He shows Riker the message. Riker tells him about what the code means, about how it involved the Borg and all that stuff. And Riker and Picard then make a plan to try to get a ship so they can go to the coordinates of where Beverly told Picard where she is, which turns out to be on the edge of Federation space in the, what is the region called? Birmingham something? I don't know. It's outside the Federation, so they need to find a ship. But Beverly also said not to involve Starfleet because there might be a traitor in Starfleet, and she's worried that someone might try to kill her from Starfleet. So Picard wants to try to hire a ship or get a different ship, but Riker has a different plan in mind, so they prepare to do that. Next scene is Raffi. Now, if you have been watching my channel for any amount of time, or if you've watched my reviews on the last 2 seasons of Picard, you know how much I don't like Raffi. Raffi is the most annoying character, okay? She is just, again, the way she was introduced, the way she's acted, the way she in her relationship with fucking 7 of 9 was literally just, let's put 2 characters and make them gay because diversity. And that is the only reason them 2 are made gay, by the way. It's not because they're gay in real life. It's not because they give a shit. It's because it's just for representation. Okay, that's the only fucking reason. But yes, I have not had the best of relationships with Raffi, okay? I will admit that. In this episode, I liked her. I did. I think the role she played in this episode was actually good, and I think actually fits her fucking character. Now, she starts off as pretending to be a drug addict. Goes up to a Orion, who is her, not a pimp, sorry, who's a drug dealer, and the Orion, and she buys some drugs from the Orion. Turns out to be what we've seen in the clips of her spraying drugs into her eye. That's apparently a drug you can buy, and he's the dealer. So she buys some drugs from him and starts going nuts, basically. She wants to go back into Starfleet. She's been kicked out of Starfleet. She's lost her girlfriend, because we have to tell people that. And she wants to get some information because she knows about some weapons, some very important weapons that have been stolen from Starfleet. And it turns out this Orion may have some information, so she bribes him, pretending to be a stoner still, but bribes the Orion into telling her any information on the secret weapons. And all the Orion can tell her is a red woman. Now, she doesn't really know what this means, but she thanks the Orion for the information and then tries to get a little bit more out of him, but he pretty much tells her, listen, if you don't stop talking, you're going to get us both killed. Now piss off, basically. So she heads off, and then we get the scene where she pretty much reveals that she is an undercover agent of the Federation. Now, here's the issue. Nothing to do with Raffi, but here's the issue with the story. How does Raffi know this is Starfleet intelligence? Now, I would love it if this was a story about Section 31. If she's working for Section 31, I would give credit to Star Trek to say that Section 31 might be getting a bit more open. Again, make it make sense that Section 31 was coming out of the woodwork instead of just being the secret group in the back. Maybe getting a bit more powerful in Starfleet. They come to the front more. Not the ridiculous way they did in Star Trek Discovery, which is say every cunt knows about Section 31, but then when it comes to Deep Space Nine, everybody just suddenly forgot about them. This one makes more sense. I would love to see that this is Section 31, but I have a suspicion that Raffi is not working for Federation intelligence. I think she's working for law, because we get a scene in the episode where Raffi gets a secret message from Starfleet intelligence. Now, we don't see the person on the other end, so I think this might be law using Raffi in some way. That's just my suspicions, okay? That is. Now, I want to kind of get the whole Raffi stuff done, and so I can focus on Picard and what he's doing. So, Raffi sends a message to what we think is Starfleet intelligence, and in the message he's asking for more money and more help, but the person on the other end pretty much says, listen, we need your help. There's dangerous weapons on the loose. Starfleet's going to be attacked any day now. This could start a war. You need to find out who the Red Lady is. So Raffi kind of figures it out and finds out the Red Lady is basically a statue in front of a Federation school, I think it was. And when Raffi goes there to try to save the people there, she's too late and the attack happens. And what happens is they beam the building up and drop it in a different area, killing a bunch of people. So Raffi kind of fucked up there. Now my other problem with this scene is, why didn't Raffi just send a communication from where she was? She didn't need to travel to the area. Again, this is Starfleet. You can send messages from vast distances. Why did Raffi have to run to that place? Why not send a message in the first half and then also go to the place? Kind of doesn't make sense that you're going to travel there whilst you have all this information you know and not send it to Starfleet intelligence or send it to the proper authorities. Why wait till you get there to tell them there's a terrorist attack? I don't know. That's a bit of a minus for me there. And that's how Raffi's story ends in this episode. And again, I liked her in this episode. I think it's a good fit for her. Back to Picard and Riker. So Picard and Riker head up to the new, I think it's a new Starfleet base over Earth, where we finally see in all its glory USS Enterprise Constitution class. Oh, I'm sorry, it's not that. It's not a blatant copy of that ship. No, it's the USS Titan. Listen, you can all see it, right? That ship is just a copy of the Enterprise Constitution. Come on now, let's not pretend here. Now, some people can say this is an homage to the original Enterprise and they just want to show the fans they love them. I get it, but it does seem pretty lazy to me for a design if it basically just Enterprise Constitution class just with a different name. I mean, it's basically just a refit of the fucking ship. I like the design. I'm not saying the design is shit, okay? I'm not. I'm just saying it is basically a copy, just with a bit smaller version. So, and they even call it a Constitution class anyway. So, fuck it. Again, not saying it's a bad design. I'm just saying it is a copy. Okay? I'm just saying it. Anyway. So, they dock with the ship And we get the whole ceremony of having Admiral Picard and Captain Riker on the ship. And we meet 7 of 9. Oh, I'm sorry, Annika. Because they want to get you started on the fact this captain is a giant cunt. And he is. He is oh my god, I wanted to punch him in some of the scenes he was in. Now I get it. They want 7 of 9 to be a captain of this ship. And they need us to hate the captain so that we can all accept 7 of 9 taking the fucking chair. I get it, okay? But let's be fucking honest. 7 in this episode was not great. Okay? She is annoying in this episode. I think, again, they have done massive damage to 7 and 9. The character is definitely just not 7 and 9. I don't mind calling her Hanukkah because that's pretty much who she is. I mean, the amount of times she was moaning in this episode. Oh, I didn't think Starfleet would be this bad. Oh, I had so much freedom in the Rangers. Of course you had fucking freedom in the Rangers. You were in the fucking Rangers. You're in Starfleet now. Guess what, love? There's a command structure. You do as you're fucking told. Guess what? When you're in the military, you fucking do as you're told. Guess I've had fucking captains I wanted to punch square in the fucking face. I've had lieutenants I wanted to punch in the face. Oh my god, I remember them so fucking well. I get it. You sometimes get a dickhead as a boss. We can all understand that. But acting like a fucking child about it is just bollocks, okay? I don't think 7 and 9 was good in this episode. I think she was the shittest character. And the shittest part of this episode was 7 and 9. Sorry. They have not done a good thing with that character through both fucking seasons. Anyway, so they get onto the ship. They have the little ceremony. 7 and 9 walks them through the ship and tells them how good it is and all that stuff. And then 7 and 9 gets the opportunity to take the ship out of space dock, which is a very important moment for any crew when they leave space dock. So where's the fucking captain? That's another fucking problem with this episode. The captain seems to not bother with being on his bridge. You are the captain of a Federation starship. And I barely see you on the most important part of the fucking ship. For fuck's sake. This is the part that really annoyed me. So I'm going to be pretty angry at this part. So 7 and 9 take... Well, actually, I forgot the most important scene in the episode. We have to show a new character in this series. And that is crewman LaForge. Geordie's daughter. Not saying anything against the girl. Acted fine. Was fine. Picard was surprised to see her because he didn't recognise her at first. Because he hadn't seen her in a long time. But he was happy to see her. And Riker mentions that she's a bit of a dunce because she's crashed a couple of ships. I thought that was funny. I'm fine with it. End of. Anyway, so 7 takes out the Titan out of space dock. By the way, captain nowhere to be seen still. Again, most important part of the fucking voyage is taking the ship out, and the captain is just, oh, we'll get to where he is. We will get to where he is. Captain's not there. So 7 takes the ship out. They then go into They then go to warp, and Picard tries to mention that 7 should tell engineering that they're going into to warp, but 7 just tells him it's all automated now, you don't really need to do that anymore. And Picard just kind of shows that, yeah, he's been out of Starfleet for a pretty long time. So, and I get it, it makes sense as a scene. So 7 takes the Admiral and Riker to see the captain. And the captain has just been in a room having dinner. Because he's a massive cunt. Not doing his job as captain, being on the bridge, just having dinner and wine with some crewmen. And Picard and Riker sit down to have dinner with him. He says he's happy that they're here, a bit surprised. And then when Picard mentions that he wants to take the ship to a certain starbase that was decommissioned. Seven tries to cover him, but the captain, what's his name again? It's Shaw. Captain Shaw says no. And Picard and Riker are kind of annoyed about this because all they're asking him to do is just take them to a certain starbase. They're not trying to put them in any danger. I mean, what they understand is danger, but there you go. And the captain just insults them both. I mean, he even brings up Picard being in the Borg to give him a little slap. I mean, that was like, oh my god, I wanted to punch him square in the face when he said that. Like, yes, Picard was a Borg. I get it. You don't have to be a cunt about it, you prick. And it was, oh my god, you just hate this guy automatically in this episode. And I get why they're doing it. They want Seven to be captain. I get it. Can you not make it so fucking blatant that this captain is a cunt? I mean, they were just like slapping you in the face. You know he's an idiot. You know he's an idiot. You know he's an idiot. I get it. You can calm down. And then he had this stupid line because he has to also mention that Picard's retired and that Riker is a captain but with no chair. Pretty much meaning he's got really no power. And then brings up, I listen to officers who get more money than me or have a bigger wage packet than me. Who in Starfleet's getting paid? Since they don't use money in Star Trek. Especially the Federation. So who's getting more money than you? Because if they're getting more money than you, that kind of is a problem, since nobody needs money on fucking Earth. You moron. So that scene pissed me off. Again, so he says no to Picard and Riker. He then tells them, I've picked you a room to sleep in. Turns out that Picard and Riker get sent to sleep on bunk beds. And Picard mentions the fact that he hasn't seen Beverly in 20 years. And he doesn't know what he's going to say to her when he sees her. Like, what do you say to somebody you haven't seen in such a long time? I don't know. Riker then mentions that listen, he'll be fine. They'll make sure she's okay and find out what's going on when they see her. They then get called in to see 7 and 9. 7 and 9 just pretty much tell them what they're really doing on the Titan. They tell her what's happened about the message from Beverly. And then 7 just goes into this moaning fest about, I don't like where I am. My captain's a twat. I don't get to do what I want. Blah, 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 blah. Unbelievable. Again, 7 and 9 used to be a great character. Wasted in this season. I mean, wasted in this show. Completely destroyed. Oh my god. Anyway, so she didn't listen to the captain anyway. She still set a course for the edge of Federation space to meet up with Beverly. She's given Picard and Riker a shuttle so they can get away to go help Beverly. They do. They grab a shuttle, head off. Captain then wakes up from his nap or whatever and realises, oh, I should be on the bridge because I have no fucking idea where we are. He heads up to the bridge, realises Picard and Riker have stolen a shuttle, doesn't tell the ship to engage tractor beam or tell the ship to go after Picard and Riker. Kind of would make sense, don't you think? They've stolen Federation equipment and they've pretty much taken your ship away from you, and you're just going to wait there and moan like a little prick. Which is what he does. Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. And just has a little moan at 7 and tells her to write up a full report. So, Riker and Picard head to Beverly's starship. They get there, they have a look around, see the place has been attacked, see that Beverly has killed some people, and they then split up to look for Beverly. Riker then gets taken hostage by the obviously Picard's son character, and Picard finds Beverly in this chamber thing, and then Picard sees that Riker's been taken hostage and pretty much negotiates the guy to let Riker go. He does. Riker punches him in the face, takes the phaser away from him, and then they get a signal from the ship that another ship is approaching, and the episode ends with this mysterious ship pretty much right in front of Beverly's ship. And that's how the episode ends. Again, I think the episode's okay. I think they've shown I've learnt from their mistakes. Not all of them. There are mistakes in this episode, but I think it's a really good start to the season. And that's the end of my review. If you like this review, give it a like. If you dislike this review, give it a dislike. And if you like my content, do think of subscribing. Oh, and if you do have some comments, do write them down and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Entertainment Soldier. Bye.